Hiya Blues, Alex here outside the Etihad Stadium. Now we have heard the confirmation that Oleksandr Zinchenko, the Ukrainian teenage sensation, has joined Manchester City on a deal believed to be a 5-year contract. Now he's only 19 years old. I'm going to be honest, a lot of people didn't really know much about him. He was playing for FC Ufa. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce that word.
Are they a real team?
Are they a real team?
I saw him Pro Evolution a few years back.
Well, they're a team that are only 5 years old. Now he was leaving to play for Shakhtar Donetsk. He's incredibly well thought of in Ukrainian football. He actually broke Andriy Shevchenko's record as the youngest player to score for the Ukrainian national team. Andriy Shevchenko is one of the best centre forwards in European football history. Yep. So he's got a lot of hype about him. Manchester City have beaten Real Madrid and Manchester United to a signature, according to reports in the Daily Mail and the Sun and Sky. Yeah. Stephen, you're our resident expert on youth football. I don't know how much you know about Ukrainian and Russian football, but
I'm off all there all the time.
Yeah, all the time. But how excited can we get about Zinchenko?
I've done the thing you do when you sit and watch all the YouTube videos, and he's good. He's genuinely a good player. Obviously, there's a massive step up to the Premier League level and on Pep's level, but he seems really exciting. What I like about him, he's a very intelligent player, and he fits Pep's motif of a player that can play in several positions. I've seen footage of him playing right wing, left back, holding midfielder, anywhere across the midfield, and I like that. But he seems comfortable as well. He's a decent size. He seems to be very comfortable technically, very skillful, dribbles really well, and he just seems to be a very complete player. And I think that'll be a part of the appeal, because it's rare to see an 18 or 19-year-old making their first steps into football and seeing that comfortable in that many positions. I guess it says a lot about his intelligence as a footballer.
And it's something that Pep Guardiola demands of his players as well, is that they're sort of versatile and can play more than one position. Can you recommend him, compare him to someone that we might be a little bit more familiar with watching the Premier League in England?
Now, don't get carried away, because this sounds quite impressive, but he does remind me a little bit like a De Bruyne in the way he plays. That kind of, you're not necessarily really fast, but very elegant, glides forward really well, not really strong but powerful, and not massively skillful but can beat a man. He seems to have that just really strong all-round game like De Bruyne has. But then when he plays on the right wing, he looks a little bit like Roberts the way he dribbles. When he's on the left, he looks a little bit more like De Bruyne. He just seems to be some kind of amalgamation of a few different types of players, but just a very good all-round, strong, confident footballer. Maybe even a little bit Alaba-esque in terms of all his all-round game. This is based off YouTube, so I'm not going to pretend to be some kind of Zinchenko genius. But it does seem quite nice. It's a nice little signing. Whether, though, he'll play for City anytime soon is a quite different question altogether.
I mean, you're obviously our champion of youth football, and anybody who follows you on Twitter will know that at an esteemed company, check them out, all the youth football updates. But who's there, the Brandon Barkers and the players like that, the wide men that we've been looking at in the youth team the last couple of years, what are they going to make of it to see City have this brilliant academy and we're just going to pluck the best thing out of Ukrainian and Russian football? Yeah,
it's this is the price you pay for being at the top level of football. If you want to play for one of the elite clubs, you've got to deal with elite prospects challenging for you. I mean, I'd like to see the young lads kind of get involved from our club already. But this is it. This is what Chelsea do. This is what a lot of big teams do. They sign these young players. You remember Barcelona signing Halilalovic, or whatever it's pronounced, Alan Halovic. Obviously, Real Madrid signed Odegaard as well. This could be our version of that. And do you know what? If he goes on loan to PSV, which is apparently the kind of destination that he's been muted to go to if he does sign, so he won't come and be the first team. But if he goes there, does something like what someone like, I don't know, even what De Bruyne did, where we sell him for 30 million a few years if he doesn't quite make our first team, and then it's no bad thing. But do you know what? If you want to be a top-class player, you have to beat top-class players. You have to be willing to rise to the challenge. And if it gives the likes of Barker and Brahim Diaz a kick up the arse to prove even further, then that's a good thing in my opinion.
I mean, we've heard this story before as well. Last summer, people might remember Enes Ünal, who was the big prospect in Turkish football. Again, had broken records, being the youngest player to play for Turkey. He went out on loan to NEC Breda, where he's done really well, 9 goals in 11 games, which is certainly not to be sniffed at. But is this one that's just kind of one that we can all talk about for a couple of weeks, then Zinchenko gets farmed out on loan somewhere and we never really hear from him again? Yeah,
realistic. I think that'll happen. There might be work permit problems as well. It'd be great, ideally, if he could stay with Pep, but I don't know if there'll be work permit problems, but it's a fair presumption given the fact that he's not an elite talent of the highest order. He's very good, but he won't get the special dispensation that certain players get. I think he'll end up disappearing out on loan, but that's not a bad thing. That's just part of the development. And City will see an increase of this as we've been linked to a lot of young players recently, like Gabriel Jesus as well, over in Brazil, and there's a few other little names like Julian Brandt in the German league. I think we'll see a lot of young talents linked to the club and be a part of a wider kind of method of bringing these young players in, if not integrating the first team, buying low and selling high. But I think it's just part of the new identity of City to get these young players before they become worth 40 million.
All right, okay, I'm going to wrap it up then. Stephen, final consensus, good signing?
Well, he looks like a very good player, and that's all we can judge it off. I think it'd be very interesting to follow his development. Once again, City fans, I don't expect that we can see him anytime soon, maybe in pre-season in friendlies, but I think this is one just to keep an eye on. I think it's a decent sign, a good indication of how the club are moving forward. And he said, interestingly, he was very interested to play for Pep, so that's another example of the Pep factor, and I like that.
Super. I think I'm getting a little bit excited as well. It's good to see the best young players playing at Manchester City. So this is our verdict, these are our thoughts. Let us know what you make of the signing in the comments below. If you're enjoying these updates, these reactions, give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to Blue Moon Rising TV, make sure you subscribe. See you next time, Blues.